We are the poet, the pastor, and the pundit, opining each week on the intersections of faith and politics. We come to you from First Congregational United Church of Christ in DeKalb, Illinois. We hope you enjoy what you hear. Thank you for listening.
I'd never seen the whole thing, just the first kind of chorus. Happy birthday, happy birthday.
It's a little more jaunty than I ever heard it. Okay.
All right. Well, welcome back. It has been a couple of weeks. Our lives have been on hold for a while, but we are back, and we are the poet, the pastor, and the pundit, opining as we are wont to do on the intersection of faith and politics. Thank you for joining us for another episode. We'll reintroduce ourselves very quickly. You are
Rebecca Parfit.
And something happened yesterday of note?
Well, I turned 83.
Wow.
But
I'm sing your song for her.
Happy birthday, happy birthday.
Here we go.
Well, despite everything, it was a pleasant birthday. Thank you.
Wonderful. And I'm Reverend John Dorhauer, serve as the pastor at First Congregational United Church of Christ, where these two lovely leaders are members. We are an open and affirming just peace church, committed to believing that no matter who you are, where you are in life's journey, you're welcome here. And you are?
My name is Sharon Nicola. I've been a member of the church for about 2 years now. Went by so fast, I thought it was only 1 year. That's how great it is.
Well, you and I arrived, you got here like just before I did.
No, right after.
I thought it was before because I thought I saw you the first time. But anyway,
Yeah.
I would concur. Those years have flown by. I don't know where they went. And a lot has happened in this couple of years.
Yeah.
So as we are wont to do, as I say, we opine on the intersection of faith and politics, and there are a few things going on. And I've got a list here.
Yeah. Okay.
And I want to see which of these things interest either of you.
Okay.
On the list today, and I'll read through the list, and you tell me which ones jump out at you. We could talk about Pete Hegseth and the rule of law and his willingness to thwart the rule of law. We can talk about the pardons of Donald Trump and how they belie what he says about his commitments to end drugs and drug trafficking. We can talk about the World Cup ceremony at which FIFA created a peace prize and gave it to him. Like a 5-year-old kid. And what would you like today, Donald?
What prize do you want?
I'll put it on myself.
Yes.
I can't wait.
And he is honoring his wife in the ceremony. I want to thank Melania, who's sitting right there, and then he moves on. The only thing he said about her, she's sitting right there. They show a photo of her, and she has this disinterested, faraway look in her eye. Like,
why am I here?
Right. We can talk about the Epstein files, which we haven't done yet. We can talk about ICE, and we can talk about Robert Kennedy Jr., which we also haven't talked about yet. So that's the list. What strikes you off the top of your head?
Oh, Lord.
What strikes me is that I came in feeling so optimistic, and now I feel perilously depressed.
So,
other than that,
what isn't on the list are some of the things that we can feel optimistic about.
Would you name something?
Yeah.
The day after our last recording, there were a number of elections that showed some very healthy signs for the democracy.
Yes.
Races, critical races, where not only did the Democrats win, they flipped districts in one case by over 20 points.
Right.
That's very good.
Yeah, and in places like Georgia.
Right.
Virginia.
The other thing is the cases that were dismissed against Comey and Letitia James.
Cases dismissed against Comey and Letitia James, the Supreme Court ruling upholding the Obergefell decision. So there were some things to celebrate.
There were. You just made a list of 6 things that are,
Well, it's really important to do that because it's so easy to be depressed. These days and to feel like there's no hope.
Right. I feel more optimistic generally with those things that you mentioned.
Exactly.
I read an article yesterday. I don't know if the election was yesterday or if it's coming soon, but there's a state house election in Georgia where a
Yes.
seat is or was flipped, where the district in 2024 supported Trump by like 20 points and it flipped. So there are signs.
Yes.
And the big test is going to, of course, be the midterm elections next
Yeah.
year, which as we approach, we'll say more about.
I want to add something because I think it colors everything that you just said. Mr. Trump held a rally in Pennsylvania.
On affordability, ostensibly, but his scatterbrain took it in many different directions.
Yes.
But the hatefulness and the rancor,
Yes.
the division, the idea that he is the president only for those who support him, only. Everyone else is not a critic, but an enemy. And I think that is significant and colors every one of those things that you mentioned. It colors Pete
point.
Hegseth, it covers bombing of unidentified boats
Yes.
in the great ocean. It covers everything.
Yes.
And that was, I think that was Trump at
Certainly
his
ice.
finest.
Yeah. And not on this list, but you talked about the hateful rhetoric.
Yes.
The way he has taken now openly to speaking to especially female journalists,
Yeah.
calling them pigs, calling them stupid.
Yeah.
He is disgusting.
It really is
Yes.
disgusting.
I've commented a couple of times on different Facebook posts about that. And someone had said, well, you know, their bosses will come down on it if they don't just go along with this. And I thought, but how about the men who are colleagues of these fellow journalists
Standing by,
who
saying
stand
nothing.
by? And I mean, would they lose their jobs if they just said, excuse me, sir, we're leaving now, and just left him alone with his hatefulness? Would they all be fired? I don't think so. They all have individual reputations, and I do not understand how they can stand so silently by and let their colleagues take a hit like that. It really saddens me deeply.
It's one of those growing list of imponderables, to be polite about it, that we can expect from this situation.
I said the same thing on one of my Facebook posts, that what really upsets me was the silence
Yes.
of especially the male reporters in the room. How somebody can say that
Yes.
to a woman standing right next to them and not respond?
Nothing.
It's
I don't
disgusting.
No,
Right.
no show of emotion, whatever. No, like, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
like,
aren't you
wait a
crossing the
minute
line?
here.
Just acquiescing.
Yes.
It's when we acquiesce as a country, as a people, we acquiesce to that.
And by not saying something, that's a silent acquiescence.
Right. And it perpetuates
And it perpetuates
that.
Exactly. I hate to say it, but it reminds me of Germany
Oh, yeah.
in a certain moment.
Oh,
Not
yes.
people who thought, gee, this is really terrible, but oh well.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, oh well.
Yeah.
Guess what happens?
Yeah. 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 Kind of terrifying.
I'm not going to get this quote exact, nor will I remember off my top of my head the source. All it takes for evil to succeed is for good people to do nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Who was that?
It'll
on,
come
Rev.
to us. I know
It
it
will
too.
come to me.
Yeah.
It was a British politician from I think the 18th century, Edmund Burke.
Okay.
Edmund Burke.
Okay. Good.
All right. So now that we've riled ourselves up a little bit, I think I want to test with you conversation on the irony of putting two of these together. The extrajudicial killing in the Caribbean of these ships. They're not ships, they're motorboats.
They're boats.
And as Rand Paul said, not exactly the most liberal progressive politician out there,
Right.
these motorboats would have to refuel
Yeah,
20
yeah,
times
right.
to hit any US coast.
Right.
Gee.
But I want to focus for a second on the irony of our government defending those illegal actions
Yes.
by claiming
Mhm.
that he's fighting the drug war.
Right.
When we know two things. First of all, that 99% of the drug that he claims he wants to stop coming to America, fentanyl, comes
Right.
from China and
Right.
not from South America.
Right.
Right. But of
Right?
course, he doesn't know that.
Oh, I'm
And
sure.
and the second thing is let's presume, and we shouldn't presume, but if we presume that they're carrying drugs,
Right.
what's the procedure when you suspect that somebody's carrying drugs?
Right.
You you detain,
Mhm.
and if needed, if there's a they shoot at you, you shoot back, but you detain, you gather evidence, you make a case in a court of law, you go through due process, they get their time in court.
Right.
When did we authorize our government at the level of suspicion,
Correct.
questionable suspicion at that,
Yes.
to just flat out murder?
Correct.
And at the same time, they're making that defense. He pardons Juan Orlando Hernandez, the Honduran president, who is guilty of what they said 400 tons of cocaine being shipped to the US.
Gosh.
And I just learned this 2 days ago. Garnett Gilbert Smith was a Baltimore drug kingpin who in 2014 was sentenced to 25 years in jail for his sale and distribution of drugs in Baltimore. And he pardoned him.
Really?
What the heck?
I hadn't even heard that one.
That's how we're fighting this war on drugs?
Well, you just gave me a thought
Yeah.
that Trump has already pardoned, is it 1,600 aggressors against the Capitol on
Anywhere from 12 to 15. I don't know what the actual
no,
number is,
say
but
more than 1,000 who
More
are
than
now
1,000.
probably our ICE agents. So I feel that he may in fact be building a drug kingdom in our country.
Well put.
Hmm, something to consider.
I
And we
hadn't thought
bring
of that.
up with the oil reserves in Venezuela,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and no wonder we have been turned into a rogue nation, which I believe it's Denmark who
Denmark.
recently said,
That they feel like the US is now a security risk for the people of Denmark.
we have become a security risk
Really? For the rest
to the
of the
rest of
world?
the world.
Gee.
People,
And it's not like or North Korea says that. It's not like China says that. It's not like Russia says that. Denmark.
Denmark. You couldn't be more middle, straight talk,
Yes, peace loving.
peace loving, and they think we've gone rogue.
and when I think of the mental case that our president is, somehow
Well said.
Greenland is not of a concern anymore. Panama doesn't seem to be a concern anymore. But those oil reserves in Venezuela.
Yeah, I think the oil reserves have dollar signs attached to them
Yes.
that make him salivate. I also think that Venezuela and a war there is the door that opens up to them declaring martial law prior to the midterm elections
Yeah,
next
exactly.
year,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
allowing them to control what early signs are indicating could be another blue wave,
Yeah.
like he had at the midterms of his first time in
Yeah.
office.
Yes, that's I think the calculation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh,
Meanwhile, I have a beloved cousin who's a graduate of Tulane Law School, and she and her husband served in the military as JAG attorneys.
okay.
Really?
These are the people that Pete Hegseth in his confirmation hearings called jagoffs.
Yes.
Pardon my French there.
Mhm.
And Pete Hegseth is the head of our military,
Mhm.
is basically saying to his troops, you don't have to follow the law. I know
Right.
what the Geneva Convention says. We know what international law is. The JAG attorneys are going to come in before you're deployed and tell you what you shouldn't do.
Right.
But when I tell you kill everybody, including civilians and defenseless people in violation of international law, go ahead and kill them.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
am the law.
I am the law.
Exactly. That's
I am
exactly
the
the message.
emissary of our president, and in the military sphere, I am the law.
And I can do anything I want, anything he wants me to do.
But think of the burden placed on those military
Yes.
personnel who.
What are
do
their
what they don't-
choices?
Yes.
Exactly.
What are they supposed to do? It's
And
mind-bending.
Well, what they're supposed to do is uphold their oath to protect and
Correct.
preserve the Constitution and the law.
Exactly.
And they are told every time they're deployed, you may not execute an illegal order. That's what they should do. But
Correct.
I understand what you're saying about the moral dilemma that they face.
Yes.
And I have a fear that those superior officers in rank
Mhm.
who say, okay, I can't do this, I resign.
They're
Okay,
going to be replaced by somebody who
by
will do it.
loyalists.
Yes.
Who will do it.
Right. And
And
he'll
we're
have his own
crumbling
troops.
as a result. We're crumbling. Our moral.
I will say there are two places, and we talk about what gives us hope. There are two places that I also see signs of hope. The lower courts, not the Supreme Court, but
Yeah.
the lower
Yes.
courts are upholding the law,
Yeah.
and military officers at every rank are
Yes.
upholding
Yes.
the
Yes.
law and what they've been taught. And if
Yeah.
that continues,
Yes.
we're going to be okay.
Yep. And I think it will continue. It
I-
it's right. It's not just what we like. It's right.
Yeah. And it's one thing to talk about those who are going to resign, because what about those who are getting fired?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Building a team of loyalists. And
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
Project 2025 staring us
Right.
in the face.
Exactly.
I think we're halfway there, and it's only been how many months that he's been in office, and the
Yeah,
plan is
9 months.
halfway there. Um,
Yeah. And let's remind ourselves, Pete Hegseth served 4 years in the National Reserves, right?
Right.
He's not
forgotten that.
a 20-year committed officer who's gone through the ranks and climbed powers, and then he became a talking head on Fox News
Great.
on the weekend. He didn't have the talent to make it during the week, but during the weekend.
well, the morality isn't there. His personal life is,
Oh,
a
it's-
mess.
Right.
And
It is.
It's just
I don't
enough
even
that
want to
he's
go
busy.
after his personal life because it
know,
really,
People have
Trump's
demons.
personal life, Pete Hegseth's personal life, womanizing,
Mm.
no moral compass, no moral compass.
Right.
See, there's an intersection there.
Yeah,
you
it seems
guys.
like they're maybe on the same team.
Doesn't it seem that way? So, given all that, there's a comment I got probably on my Facebook page that said, they are strong, but we are numerous. And if we hold on to our solidarity, our North Star, then I agree with you. I do see signs
Yes.
of hope.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly where the hope comes from,
Yeah.
is some solidarity and some true building of
Yeah.
support
Yeah.
in this terrible situation.
And speaking of our solidarity and
Yes.
our numbers and our hope, I was watching a video this morning of a young black man who was on his lunch break, and an ICE
Oh, I
truck
heard about
came
that.
by, and he said they just ran at me full speed and tackled me to the ground.
Yeah.
Put me in a chokehold, and the whole time I'm saying, I'm a U.S. citizen, I'm a U.S. citizen, I'm a U.S. citizen, and they ignored him. He went through a day of torturous ordeal,
Oh.
and he had a passport, and they wouldn't let him show it. But and that could lead me to hopelessness. But as I'm listening to this, I'm thinking, we know of other places where this happens.
Yes.
In other places where this happens, when are you allowed to call a press conference at the end of it and stand in front of your government and call them to account the way this young man is doing.
Right.
And I thought, we're still America, that he
Yeah.
can stand up in
Yeah,
front of a
yeah.
microphone with the
Right.
press and say that
Right.
Yeah.
And that
means
is
we're
something
still America.
we have to remember that.
Well, we are seeing that because of an independent press. We're not necessarily seeing those stories as part of our legacy press.
Correct.
Because I could tell you
Yeah,
that
you're right.
No, that's a good way
the
to put
same
it.
story of a young white woman in her scrubs on her way to work at a hospital, where the same thing. They blocked in her car, pulled her out. The doors are open. She's on the ground and
Yeah.
calling out, "I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm a U.S. citizen." So it's not even those with dark skin who
Right.
they can, and I think the Supreme Court backed it up, that they can
They
be
can discriminate based on
they
skin
can-
color.
they can discriminate. So
The
what's your
Supreme Court backs that up.
yes, and what's your answer for a young white woman with blonde hair in scrubs? What's your
Really?
answer to that? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that we didn't put the Supreme Court on the list, but we sure could.
oh
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could have
What
a
they-
few hours of conversation at that
Yeah.
point.
Oh dear,
Indeed.
dear, dear, dear.
What do we do with the despair and outrage that we feel?
Well, we come and we have a talk
Yes,
with our
we-
pastor
yes.
for one thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's one of the reasons we're doing this. We're trying to give voice to the outrage and say it in a very public stage to and for others who are feeling the same thing to
Yes.
build the solidarity you talk about.
Yes.
How many times have we marched in the streets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And that doesn't change a law, but it builds a movement, right?
Yes,
Builds a movement.
And we're going to vote. Nothing's going to stop us from voting.
Right.
And, we'll
So
do what
far,
we can do.
anyway.
So far.
Who
well,
knows?
I'm signed up to be an election judge.
Good.
You go through training in your locality, and then you are part of the team that helps the elections happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
takes-
Go through training.
Yes, you go through training. So we're like the little grunt mobiles who handle the election procedure. And
Good.
and fortunately, Becky and I have talked about this. Fortunately, we're at a place, being retired, we have the time. We're okay financially to do that, because it's a long day.
I bet.
A long day, but it's worth every second. And you're meeting with other people who care enough about this country to cast a vote.
Yes.
And for me, it's not even a matter of they may be casting a vote different than mine. The
Right.
important thing is that they're coming out to cast a vote, which strengthens our democracy.
Yes. And nobody is stopping them from casting their vote.
Correct.
And how long do we have on that one?
Yeah, in my experience, there were other supervisors who came through and asked, have there been any problems? We have a way to contact the police immediately if there's any kind of disruption. There's signs posted that your electioneering has to happen so far off the site itself. So all those things are protections for those who want to cast their vote and feel it's important for our democracy to do that.
Absolutely.
That
One-
gives me hope.
Yes.
that gives me a lot of hope.
Yeah.
And I'm reminded of the poet who said, "Hope is the hardest love we carry."
Mhm. Mhm.
Anne, what's the poet's name? Anne. Never mind.
It's flown out of my mind.
Yeah.
But the name of
The hardest love we carry, hope.
it's the name of the poem itself is Hope and Love,
Mhm.
and it's Sharon somebody.
Okay.
Mhm.
It'll come to
It'll
you.
come.
Probably in the middle of the night. I'll call you out.
Yeah, okay.
Well, speaking of coming to me, we always close our conversations with final words. You want to show your shirt?
my
And
shirt,
while you can
yeah.
think about what your final word will be.
Okay, this is so appropriate.
When
Mr.
injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty. And tell
That's-
us who said that.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg,
You
my
bet.
heroine, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
She
In
was
fact,
she was a true delight.
I've said this to people that I find my tribe in a way.
Mhm.
I was sitting after one of our events and I was wearing my pearls for Ruth. And a lady around my age was leaving the restaurant and she said, "No one wears pearls anymore." And I said, "Well, I'm wearing these in honor of Ruth Bader Ginsburg." She said, "Wonderful." And I said, that's my one, that's my thing. And I noticed that she was wearing pearls. And I said, "Well, you're wearing pearls too." And she said, "Now I know who I'm wearing them for."
Oh,
Wonderful.
that's
You
a
have a
great
tribe.
moment.
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you have a final thought?
Just the thought of a tribe,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that we are building a tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And with all the, dare I say, caca
Yeah.
going on, we need to feel hope because we are a tribe
Yeah.
and we're not going to sit quiet while this goes on the way it's been going on.
Right.
And I know you well enough to know that in your tribe, all are welcome.
You bet.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
That
going
for Trump.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna have to let him in.
maybe a fully repentant Trump, but I don't know how many lifetimes it's going to take
Hold
to
your
get
breath.
there.
Yeah.
Not holding my breath. And my final word, as always, is we're in this together.
Yes.
We will get through this. I want to thank you all for listening. We are the poet, the pastor, and the pundit, opining on the intersection of faith and politics. We'll be back again next week. Bye-bye. That was our podcast this week. Be sure to tune in next week for another edition of The Poet, the Pastor, and the Pundit, opining on the intersections of faith and politics. Thank you for listening.